You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
An Auckland City Hospital doctor has achieved an incredible feat by completing a self-supported ultramarathon on all 7 continents in just 1 year. In 2024, Dr. Inia Raumati completed 8 races in 8 countries: Australia, New Zealand, Namibia, Peru, Mongolia, Romania, the United States and Antarctica. Across all 7 continents, each ultramarathon was around 250 kilometres and took 5 to 6 days to complete. Dr. Inia Raumati joins us now. Congratulations on this incredible feat. I guess the obvious first question is why?
Oh, that's a very good question. It was a bit of a combination of I was raising money for a scholarship that we're starting to help with school kids. To get them motivated to partake in sport and tertiary education. And the other reason was I was turning 50, so I'm getting old.
What better way to celebrate bringing up a milestone birthday like that than doing this? So let's talk about the logistics of it, the scheduling of it, first of all. Were you were obviously confident that you could fit them all into one calendar year, but were there any logistical challenges?
Oh, it was a logistical nightmare. Like, we actually managed to get all races done in 10 months in the end, but people would cancel races, and then we'd have to find another race on on the same continent and try to work it in with other ones. Occasionally, like, the worst I had was one race I came back from. I literally got back to New Zealand, had a day, had to repack all my gear, swap it out, and was back on the plane again the next day. So, yeah, it was pretty tight.
So I want to come back to the scheduling, but in terms of recovery, because how long would recovery for one of these races normally be? I wouldn't imagine that 1 day is the ideal recovery. Well, what is the normal recovery time after one of these? Realistically,
normally after a big race like that, with the amount of harm you cause your body, I guess, for want of a better term, you're looking at about 3 months, I guess. Turning around and having like 2 weeks between start and finish with travel in between is not the best.
Mate, it's not. But obviously you factored all that in. The one in Antarctica, I think I read that only happens every other year. So if you didn't do it this year, you would have had to wait for a couple of years. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So that was the big one. It's like if I messed up in a race this year and couldn't finish it, then I had to wait like another 2 years. So.
When you look back, which one was the hardest?
Oh, I think the one in Namibia in Africa. Unfortunately, in the first race in New Zealand, I caught COVID on the last day, and so I sort of turned around to Namibia, and it got up to 50 degrees in the heat. So I was pretty suffering. So that was probably put the biggest physical toll.
Because I guess across the continents, depending on the time of year and all that sort of thing, you came up against different weather, different climatic sort of conditions. Do you prefer the heat? Do you like it when it's a bit cooler? What's your preference?
Oh, no, I like the cold. I loved Antarctica. Running in Antarctica is made for like short, stocky people like myself. It's cold, the wind's howling, all the really skinny, runner athletic builds, they all get blowing around, so it works in our favour.
So these are self-supported ultramarathons. So were you basically by yourself the whole time?
I ran a lot by myself, but the self-supported side comes into you have to carry everything you need in your back for the 6 to 7 days. So all your food, your sleeping bag, everything like that, and they just provide you overnight with tent and a water allowance. I've got a really weird running style, so nobody sort of runs with me for long, so it's quite good.
What's weird about your running style?
Oh, I've got really short legs, and I think I run as fast as some people walk at times when the big, tall, lanky people.
So actually, for these races, you're probably taking, twice as many steps as somebody else who's doing it.
Probably. I probably weigh twice as much as some of them as well, but it's all good. Incredible. It helps with the endurance side of it. So
how do you split it up, Inia? Do you divide the kilometres evenly across the days? Are there certain days you run more K? How does it work?
Yeah, so typically they run about on the same format. So you run roughly a marathon a day, and there's a time cut off that you have to make. And then they typically have a long stage where they sort of double it up. So you might be running 80 to 100 Ks, and that can go overnight. If you're quick enough, you almost get a whole day off before the final sort of sprint day to the finish.
And in terms of sleep, how many hours of sleep are you getting per night on average?
Well, I think I probably get more than when I'm working as an emergency doctor, to tell the truth. You know, because all you've got to do is, you know, wake up, go for a run, eat, and have a bit of a sleep. You know, I sleep quite well in tents. I love it. Well,
I imagine after doing the Ks during a day, it wouldn't take much to nod off. In a race of this length, in a 250-kilometre run, which are typically the hardest kilometres?
Oh, I think the early days, and that's when most people will pull out or quit, because you haven't really invested much, and every time you start a new race, it's like your body hurts. And then come about day 3, my brain just tells my body to shut up and get on with it. So I usually get better as the days go on. So,
how did you get the ultramarathon bug?
It was a little bit through my dad, really. Like I sort of, I hurt my back quite badly in my 30s through work, working on the chopper service and that, and then just sort of gradually got into running. And my dad was always into like running, so one day, you know, the Christchurch earthquakes, he signed me up, or he told people I was going to run an ultramarathon to raise money for charity, and that was the first one, and it sort of just took off from there.
And because I guess people get the running bug, right? They do, and they might run a 10K, they might run a half marathon, they might run marathons. The ultramarathon just seems to me to be an entirely different commitment altogether. I mean, where do you train? Did you manage to train at all, or was it just race to race to race?
Yeah, so most of my training was actually done in 2023, I guess. I spent a lot of time in the gym putting on some weight on purpose and some muscle and running long back-to-back runs on the weekends or whenever I could get off work. And then last year, you're really just recovery between races. You don't really need to train if you're doing that many runs. You're just trying to rebuild enough to get back into the next one.
Where does your mind go during these runs? Do you solve the problems of the world? Do you play music? Where does your mind go during these races?
Yeah, well, sometimes I have little epiphanies and sort of like have to quickly think about jotting them down about, you know, fixing the healthcare system and things like that. But mostly I don't listen to music. I like to switch off. I get sort of bombarded with, you know, questions and all that sort of stuff every day, all the time. So I like to just switch off and go to my own little space and maybe have a bit of a chat with some of the other runners and, you know, learn about why they're doing it as well. And that sort of helps with other things I'm trying to organise. And yeah, it's sort of, sometimes I'll run 10Ks, whatever, and you don't even know it because you've just switched the brain off. Incredible. So what does 2025 hold for you? Well, at the moment, I think now that all the big races are over, my body's sort of in that, it's sore and it's wanting to recover a bit. It's going to be a busy start to the year because I'm getting married and I've got one more race to do to try to set another record. And then hopefully the second half of the year will just be lounging around a bit. Well, you've earned it. What's the race you have to do and what's the record that you're looking to set with this next one? Oh, well, there's a 4 Deserts race series run by Racing the Planet. And so, like, I was the first New Zealander and so far the only New Zealander to do all 4 in a year of those. But if I finish their next race in March, there's a group of us, there's a few of us that if we all finish will be the first to ever do it twice. And so there's that one. Amazing. And then marriage. Oh, it'll be a breeze after all of this. I've been told that I have to put on sunscreen because if I show up at the wedding with a burnt face, I'm in trouble. You will be in trouble. That's very good advice from whoever gave that to you. Inia, it's been such a delight chatting to you, mate. Congratulations on this incredible feat of mind over matter and of physical resilience, mate. Just terrific. It's been awesome to get the chance to chat to you. Thank you very much, and you have a good New Year. You have a good New Year too. Dr. Inia Raumati there. 8 races in 8 countries. And not just races, ultramarathons, self-supported on all 7 continents in just 1 year. Remarkable.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.